So, what do we need? We need our kit of stuff. And we need our soldering gun. This is actually a soldering iron, not a gun. That way you can have one in California. And some solder. Alright, because every soldier needs a soldering gun. Okay, there you go. And so we're going to take our parts, we're going to take them all out of the package here. Step 0 is download the instruction manual, but we don't do that. You know, this has a label on it, number 3. I think that probably means something. This says number 1. It's a bunch of screws. This is numero dos, and it's a bunch of knobs and switches and stuff. That's probably just extra parts, so we'll just go ahead and throw that out. All right. Soicaboid. And some foam pad. This is acoustic shielding foam, so you know, it cuts out the low frequency sounds as it's going through your reamp. Right. Okay. And oh, cool. Okay. I saw this yesterday. Faceplate for that side. Okay. Let's get some instructionals. Operation manual. Okay, let's go online and get some instructions. Here comes the jump cut. All right, we need our soldering iron. We got that. We need our solder. We need some screwdrivers, some wire cutters, some good snips. All right, I got some Jewish buddies that might have an extra pair of those. Let's see, a multimeter. Okay, get a multimeter. Although not strictly necessary, we highly recommend obtaining a multimeter. Blah blah blah. Even a cheap $15 unit. Obviously, these guys have never heard of Harbor Freight because they're not $15. Okay, identify parts. All right, L2A case. Boom. Foam pad. Got it. L2A PCB. PCB. Yeah, you know me. All right, EdCore 10K transformer. Is not in this bag at all. All right, number 3. Gah! Ooh, sharp edges. All right. Don't try this at home. Make sure you go to work and try this. All right. PC 10K/10K resistor or transistor transformer. Jesus, it's not a transistor. The transistors don't even look like that, but transformers do. Watch out, Bumblebee. Okay, that was a dumb joke. Okay, what else we got? Front and back panels. All right, front panel or back panel. Back panel. I can't see my camera. Hopefully those are in focus. All right, input XLR jack. That's not XLR. Oh, okay, so this takes XLR in. That's good to know. XLR input jack, and it's a locking jack. Look at that. Okay, XLR, we got that. Boo, 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 boo. Output, 1/4 inch jack. That does look like about a 1/4 inch, and trust me, I know what a 1/4 inch looks like. Potentiometer. Show your full potential with this potentiometer right here. That's this little guy, little turn switch. You know, like a dimmer switch, basically. a knob and a screw set. I guess this is the screw set. All right. 15K resistor. That is, resistors are futile. And a 15X screws. Okay, so wait a minute. Knob and screw set. They must mean a set screw. That may be hard to see, but right in there, there's a little. That's called a set screw, and what that does is when you tighten that, it actually won't be able to see it here on this camera, I'm sure. But what it does is it actually protrudes into the middle, and it locks it into place on something flat. The something flat in this case is the. Hopefully you can see that. Let me switch here. Yeah. It's out of focus, but see how that's got a flat edge to it? This is like the best cinematography ever. Yeah, see? Flat edge. See right on the top, you can see it. Catch it before it's gone. Okay. Yeah, so the little screw will sit against that and then hold the knob in place. So when you turn it, it won't wiggle. It won't wiggle without turning this at all. Because when you turn this, you want it to turn that when it wiggles, is what I should say. Okay, so that is the knob and screw set. And then here's the bag of screws that it comes with some extra because they're easy to drop. Well, that is actually pretty nice of them to do. Okay, test the transformer. I highly recommend you test the transformer before soldering. Okay, so let's see, go plug it into the wall. Nope, we warranty the parts until the moment you solder them. Oh, shit, okay. Test the multimeter to read resistance, often indicated by a symbol nobody understands. Test the resistance between pins 1 and 3. 5 and 7 both should read 125 to 150 omegas. I think that means gods. So we're going to measure God with a multimeter. Okay, let's do that. Jump cut time. Okay, so I highly recommend that you test the transformer, blah, 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 blah. So, get out our multimeter here. And make sure I can see this in the camera. You can. Okay, set your multimeter to read resistance. Set it to French mode, 125 to 150. Would be in the 200 range. Okay, so put the notch toward the bottom. It's going to be upside down in your view, but I'm doing this for me, not for you. Okay, 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Oh, let's test to see if this actual multimeter actually works. Oh yeah, that's some good quality stuff right there, man. Harbor Freight for the win. All right. Should measure between 125 and 150. Okay, I'd say that's pretty close because, you know, we have margin of error here with our little guy. 1 and 3 and 5 and 7. Okay, I think we're okay. Oh, wait. We actually, this is so stupid, we actually have an actual resistor here. Of course, that multimeter should read 0 when you touch the leads together, but it doesn't because it's from Harbor Freight and because it probably needs a new 9-volt battery, and I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to do it next time, and by next time I mean next time I take out the multimeter, I'm going to say it needs a 9-volt battery. and then I'm going to change it next time. Okay. Resistor leads. This is a 15K resistor, it says. Okay. Let's see. Multimeter set to 20K range. Oh yeah, that's real accurate. Yeah, heck yeah, dude. So, so this Harbor Freight multimeter measures the 15K resistor as nothing. So that, that's good. So make sure that make sure your equipment, your test equipment works when you're doing something. Bend the leads of the resistor to make it easy to insert into the PCB. Okay, so actually what I like to do with these, in those kinds of cases, is find out where you're supposed to put the resistor, which looks like it's right there, and insert one end into it. So I kind of get an idea about where it should sit. Then I get an idea about where it should be bent. See, it's got the little diagram. So like right about there is probably a good place to bend. And so if I kind of guesstimate on the opposite side. And then I kind of insert it in there just to see. Yeah, that's pretty good, because that's gonna sit right there, and then they stick out the other end, and boom. Okay. Bend the resistors, make it easy. Place the resistor. Since resistors don't have any polarity, it doesn't matter. That's a good instruction, actually. Since it won't be letting off significant heat, you can place it flush. Solder the resistor. Okay, well, it's soldering time, so there's going to be another jump cut because I got to warm up the soldering iron. All right, we're back at the solder the resistor stage. I like to take my solder and kind of make a little coil I can loop from, kind of like this, but smaller and more manageable. I'm not the world's best solderer, but I do okay, hopefully. Alright, so I got that nice and clean and tinned. Hey, look at that. Not bad for some random jerk who doesn't know what he's doing. Okay, next step here is place the output jack, place the quarter-inch jack on the PCB. First step, find the output jack. Place the output jack. and solder them. Okay. Okay, they suggest bending the lead slightly with the screwdriver, so I'm going to actually do that. Okay, and what that does is that basically just holds it in there. It's still slightly loose, but it keeps it from moving all around when we're trying to solder it. And, you know, we're dealing with a pretty robust piece of hardware here. We're not dealing with like a computer processor or something. So you can kind of, you know, bend those. Don't be too crazy, but you can be a little rough with them. All right, actually, those don't look too bad. Again, not bad for some random a-hole. Okay. Place and solder the potentiometer. So actually, if you look at this PCB, and we looked at the parts earlier, but there's actually not a lot of parts to this, which is kind of neat. I've had some projects I've done when I was a lot younger. There were so many different parts, resistors and stuff, and then, of course, I was like 15 or something. I didn't know if I did them right, and you know, you put the thing together, and it doesn't work. And then you're going through all your solder joints and there's like, 100 different places. So this is a lot nicer. This piece actually snapped in and it's pretty much just sitting there. Okay, next up, place the transformer. How about we move this out of the way? 10K, 10K. Line the notch up with the corresponding one on the PCB. Very nice. Okay, notch there. Notch on the transformer. Boop. Look at that. All right. Same with this one. It wants to kind of pop out. So I'm going to bend the leads with the screwdriver. The other thing that bending the lead does is it puts the lead right next to the little island of metal there, well, next to the circle of metal, so that it isn't sitting there like its own little island, kind of floating in the center where the solder has to kind of jump a gap. I didn't bend these that much, so it's still pretty loose in there. You can see it moving, but I think it'll do for the job here. Actually, that's holding it up, so I think we'll be okay. What I mean by holding it up is it's holding it steady, so it's not going to fall out. Find with those tiny bits of solder like that, it's best to just not burn your fingers. Same for welding rods. If you're doing TIG welding, I have a whole bunch of little ones about that long. It's like, just don't even bother. All right, so far this is what we got. Actually, it's not looking too shabby, and there's actually, I can count, looks like 3 different things that still need to go on there. This camera's autofocus. I can't do anything about making that sharper. Okay, what is next? Place inside our input jack. Balanced input. Looks like that would go there, but it's not quite fitting right. Uh-oh. Okay, so this guy has 3 metal prongs that would normally go into holes there, but then it's also got 2 plastic ones. Do and do. So I'm going to look at these 2 right next to each other. Oh, because I'm trying to stick it on here. See, that's the kind of stuff I do when I'm doing these projects, is I'll put something on the wrong side or backwards, which is so stupid. Okay, because look at that. We put it on that way, it actually goes on right. So 2 of the plastic pegs, obviously, we're not going to solder. And we're going to solder the other 3. There you go. It actually says don't solder the 2 plastic mounting pins right there. Okay. Place the switch. Place the switch in the switch 1 ground position and bend the longer leads. Do not solder yet. Move to the next step. Okay. Switch 1 ground position, but it doesn't say which one that is. Okay, I'm going to guess if the switch sticks through, then down must be the ground position. Okay. Place it in there like that. Bend the 2 longer leads to keep it in place. Sure, and that's always a good idea to make sure that your various leads are touching each other, you know, to ensure electrical connectivity. Okay, move on to the next step. Attach the front panel and solder the jack. Attach the front over the XLR jack and screw the panel to the XLR jack. Oh, look at that. Okay. It looks like maybe if you soldered it, you wouldn't have the little bit of kind of wiggle room you need here to kind of get all this put on. See how that kind of moves in there? Because it's not tight. Screw that on, so we need a couple screws. They're all the same screw, which is pretty cool too, I think. Because it means you're not going to mess anything up. Or you don't have to sort out which screws are which and all that stuff. Okay. Well, I think they're all the same size screw. Because that doesn't seem to be cooperating. All right, I'm no particle physicist or anything, but those screws all look like the same size to me. So we're going to brute force it. Yeah, that's what you do when something doesn't quite fit the way you think it should. You just force it in there. Okay, this jeweler's screwdriver is not exactly the best for the job. Probably it's because of my delicate little musician fingers. Oh yeah, see, you're tightening that. If that switch was on there tight, that'd be a problem. I don't know. I have a feeling doing this is going to be a pretty solid piece of equipment. I mean, it's a little metal box, but like, I'm not over tightening these screws or anything, but it feels like it goes in there pretty snug. Pulls that jack up against there, which means that jack isn't going to wiggle. Of course, soldered it myself, so I know it's super strong. Yeah. Screw the accelerator, make sure it's sitting nicely, and solder the leads. Okay, so make sure the switch is in there nice. And then solder that puppy in. A little too much solder on my soldering iron. And the tip's a little too wide for what we're trying to do there. It's real delicate. So, fortunately, you just got to deal with the one that life gives you. This is the size tip that I got, and it fits where it fits. So, best I can do is just try to be real careful. Alrighty, I think we got her. Next step, trim excess leads, slide the PCB into the case. Screw in the panels and we're done. Alright, let's go get some snips to cut this lead. I'll be right back. Alright, I got my snips. Just wipe the blood off of them. Shalom. And then we're going to cut all these little leads here. All these little leftover leads are great for stepping on, so what I recommend is just tossing them onto the floor. But you can do whatever you want. Like that one that just snapped off and went who knows where. I'll find it. And that one just did the same thing. I should shut up about it. Okay, I'm going over real quick just to look, make sure there aren't any obvious places where like there's a gap somewhere. Make sure none of these little islands of solder are touching each other. I think we're good. I think we're good, man. Look at that. That's some solid stuff there, dude. Okay, on this side, I mean, not bad for just some dude, right? Okay. Excuse me. Next step, slide her into the case. Looks like it has some channels there that go all the way down. Right there, right there. Looks like it doesn't matter which one's which, except it does have a label, right? Okay, so this is good to know. If something's going into to a case, right? It's going to slide in. That's cool, right? But circuit board's pretty low compared to the case. Let me turn this around. Spatial reasoning is very difficult. Okay, so if you right that angle, you see that? If your leads are too long in there, they could scrape against the bottom case. The case is enameled or whatever; it's got paint on it, so it may not be a problem, but it could be. So if I had left some of these leads long, like actually these ones right here, see these guys are about to go in there. It's like your car antenna hitting the roof of the parking garage when you go out. Not a good thing if in this case. It would be a really bad idea. Okay, it's hard to tell on the camera. I actually got plenty of clearance there, so we're good. All right, 4 screw holes, 4 screws. Nice. This is where magnetic tipped screwdrivers are great. This is not a magnetic tipped screwdriver. This is where power tools will just destroy any project you're doing, by the way. So if all you have is like... Also, I hate Phillips head screws because they have a tendency, like if the tip isn't exactly right, they'll end up kind of stripping. This one's starting to lean that direction. I'm a little sensitive about that because I have lots of experience with them doing that. So I'm going to switch tips here. Boop, boo. That fits a little better. It looks a little screwed up at the end, but it actually fits a little better. Sometimes that's just how it works. And that's why, ladies, you can't judge just by looking. Got to try them out first. Okay. This screwdriver bit's actually from a computer repair kit. That's why this bit is so long. It's for reaching way down into a motherboard, or into a chassis and getting into a motherboard. So it seems ridiculously long for the job, but I'm used to it. Okay, got a lift and ground switch. It's a pretty robust little switch there. Got a locking XLR jack, as we mentioned before. Turn it over. We haven't done that yet. Let me guess. Screw in the other panels, put the knob, nut, and washer on, and then put on the foam sticker. All right, let's do that. So anyway, other side, we got this guy here. Look at that. That's pretty nice if you ask me, man. I mean, we don't know if the thing actually works or not, right? Because all we did is we just put a bunch of Lego pieces together and then put some hot glue on it. So we got the IKEA effect going on here. Feeling like it's a good quality product because we had some part of assembling it and manufacturing it. So let's not let that sway us, right? That's why in the next video, awesome job, dude. In the next video, what I'm going to do is, I've heard some of these kinds of tests, and one of the things I've noticed is, and it's similar to what some of these online mastering sites do. You know, they'll show you a before and after of audio that they did for a client, and be like, listen to this one. This is their mix, and then here's what our cloud-based AI, whatever, BS automatic mastering system did. And then they play it, and it sounds good, but mostly it's because it's, excuse me, mostly it's because it's louder. So I've actually seen some videos with these reamp boxes, and they're like, look, here's the difference between them all, and they don't level the volume. And it's, I don't know, to me it just seems like such a simple step. Like, we're all audio engineers, we got the gear for it. Like, you don't even need some kind of fancy like outboard VU meter, man. I mean, just it's built right into the DAW. So just, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this box, and these are the little tips you get if you don't scrub through the video. Is I'm going to test with a TS cable and a TRS cable, because I believe part of the reason you actually get noise is if you send a balanced signal out of your audio interface with a TRS cable. Ironically enough, that actually introduces more noise. And I believe these guys right here, these little boxes, are supposed to take balanced in. Well, no, they do take balanced input because they take an XLR jack. So they want all three connections. They don't want some fancy hacky cable like one of those TS to XLR cables. It wants good old-fashioned 3-pin connection. But then the output here, okay, so input is 3 pins, tip, ring, and sleeve. So you get a balanced input from your DAW. That's the whole point, is this is line level. This guy, though, I'm pretty sure, I haven't read the instructions, pretty sure this is supposed to be a TS plug, because this is going to go through your guitar pedals and stuff. And as I found out when I was just starting this, the whole kind of musical journey is if you send a TRS cable into a guitar pedal, they won't work. In fact, I got a couple guitar pedals that my dad sent, and I thought they were broken because they just didn't work. And I tested the battery, 9-volt battery, touched your tongue and it buzzes you, and it works, but nothing. The lights weren't turning on, nothing was happening. It turns out that according to some forum post I read on Gear Sluts, they said that a TRS cable won't even allow the voltage to go through the pedal. Okay, who knew? That guy, not me. So, okay, so now we got that here. I assume that we put the washer on first. Put this little guy. Get my ginormous but still delicate little musician / computer hacker hands out of the way. tighten that on there. Is that right? Yeah, and then level goes on with a screw and whatnot. I assume, haven't read the instructions yet, we'll get there, that you turn it all the way counterclockwise there, and it's going to want to be somewhere around that position, right? I guess. Actually, let's just see if that's right. There's the set screws on the top. And look at that, the flat part's on the top. Aha! Attach the nut in the washer. Place the knob over the shaft of the pot. Okay, may require a flathead screwdriver or an Allen key. An Allen key? What? No. This is where these little jeweler's screwdriver sets come in handy. Like, I'm not a jeweler. If I was, I wouldn't be making stupid videos on YouTube. I'd be like, you know, in the back counting my jewels and like trading them for, like, you know, government secrets or something, like in the old days. Okay, so you're going to screw that on there. Not too tight. And now we have a knob. It's turned all the way down. Doesn't want to turn anymore because it's hitting that flat part. Turn it up. Excuse me. Okay, so listen. Okay. Shut up, you filthy animal. Okay, that is the knob scraping against the case. What you can do here is you can loosen it. Raise it up slightly. Hopefully tighten it again.
Did you get the pictures?
They're on the table.
It's already gone.
Okay. So now that we raise that up and there's a little bit of space there, as you can see right there, a little teeny bit of space. Now, no noise. Alrighty. Alright, so we're back. We've have it built. The only thing that I didn't show was that I added the foam pad, which of course this thing has a lot of audio going through it, and this acoustic foam pad keeps any of your sound from leaking out, isolates the sound. Man, I would love if I was a popular YouTuber and somebody actually repeated that as fact about this foam pad. That would be so amazing. Okay, so I looked in the instructions and it says, this right here, it says ground and lift. I thought that was two different settings. What it is, it's ground lift. So it says most of the time you want it to be in the upright position to lift the ground that may cause noise. So it's the lift to remove the ground circuit is what that would mean. You know, lift it like on a schematic diagram. In a schematic diagram, you know, lifting a switch opens it, which means it's the electricity is not flowing. So that's why lift is written that way. For the input side, it wants, like we said before, it wants a balanced signal. Okay, so you need one of these guys. Which is something that not a lot of people are going to have, actually. It's not rare or anything. It's just unusual. In fact, I actually bought these on accident before. But it's a TRS on one side, or balanced is what that's called. And then on the other side, you need a male XLR cable jack, because you need to plug it into this female side here. What you'll find is that most microphones identify as male. And so they're going to plug into something that looks like this. In fact, it would be really weird, but you could plug a microphone right into the end of this. It wouldn't make any sense for this circuit, but I mean, physically it would work. So you need this male side here. So you plug that in. Oh, it clicked because it locked. That's cool. Because these are actually a locking plug. And you can tell that because it's got a little hole in there. It's that little... If I stick my finger in, you can see my finger. And when you stick it in, it goes When you stick it in, it has a satisfying click. Yeah. Okay, and the other thing was that in the instructions it says this level here is unity maximum. In other words, it doesn't amplify the signal. In fact, it says that when you turn it to the full counterclockwise position, I think that's right. Let me glance at this real quick. Boop, 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 boo. The output control can be used to attenuate but not boost the L2A's output volume. When it is set completely clockwise, there is no attenuation. Okay, so actually this here is what you want. This is 0, okay? Because this is meant to make things quieter, not louder. So you start going like this, and maybe, I'm just guessing, I have no idea because we haven't tried it yet, but maybe turning this all the way down to here will actually completely deaden the signal, like there's nothing there at all. So this is the loudest it's ever going to get, which is already attenuated at this level. So that's where you want it, is max volume all the way up to 11, just like this. Okay, so let's plug her in and see what it sounds like.